Have you ever noticed how great the final episode of a season is? Especially when the episodes leading up to it has been so lackluster. They almost feel like a completely different show. Well, this is no coincidence. You see, anime has always been known to do this for years, and with good reason. It's a tactic that pushes for more engagement and anticipation. It's also like a reward for those who stuck it out for an uneventful long season, and then they get hit with absolute peak. So let's go over some of the best final episodes and the importance they hold for the show. Starting with a perfect example of a great last episode recently being Blue Lock. It would be an understatement to say the community reacted negatively to basically the entire season. The first season of Blue Lock was nothing short of amazing through and through. It set a standard that maybe this anime will be one of the greatest sports adaptations because of how much it complemented the manga. But the season came and we were met with some questionable animations that the viewers clearly did not appreciate. The animations were beginning to be compared to slideshows and fan-made manga cuts, and that's when it seems like all hope was lost for Blue Lock. Although animations aren't everything for a good show, it was way too noticeable to just brush under the rug. And just like that, Blue Lock lost some of its viewership, all because the studio was having issues internally. It almost ruined a great manga adaptation. Then suddenly, episodes 13 and 14 are released, and it was pure cinema. The animations improved, the story built up to the climax, and the fandom was just overall happy. There was edit after edit on Isagi's final goal, or Rin versus his older brother. The viewership once again skyrocketed, and Blue Lock was praised for its comeback. And that is the importance of the final episode. A well-crafted finale gives resolution and satisfaction to the season's story points, leaving the audience feeling rewarded for their investment in the final product. Even building momentum that keeps fans engaged in between production. And this is why most finales have to be memorable. It sparks discussion and keeps the anime in the public eye, which builds longevity and sustainable popularity. Essentially, a strong episode can turn a good anime into a great one. Blue Lock was already great before this episode, but they reminded people what the show got popular for, and that's the all-around presence. Rather than leaving a bad taste with the audience, they locked in and created one of the best episodes of the year and cultivated their audience to keep that rapport. So this was a great example of a strong finale that demonstrates how important it is for the show in the long run. On another note, you have Demon Slayer and the final episode of the Hashira training arc. Now, Demon Slayer is a best-selling manga with successful box office movies, along with 4 seasons of spectacular episodes. But unlike Blue Lock, animation was not the issue. Season 5 felt like something was missing. An essential part of what made Demon Slayer good was the lack of filler. Most episodes had meaning and led to something sooner rather than later. In Season 5, it seemed like the biggest waste of time to watch. There was all this anticipation and build-up from Nezuko's sunwalking, and then Muzan dedicating all his resources to capturing her, but it all dwindled down after the first episode. The Hashira's training was interesting to see, because up until this point, there's still 3 Hashira we know nothing about. But the gore and beautiful fight scenes that made Demon Slayer popular was absent. And to the people who haven't read the manga, it was disappointing. But unlike Blue Lock, there's so much before it that it was kind of bearable. So like most people, I stuck it out up until the final episode. It was 100% worth it. In an instance, all the boring and lackluster episodes were redeemed. I was left completely shocked as to what happened. The animation was peak, the story was at the all-time climax, and the soundtrack just stole the whole show. Everyone in the anime community was talking about the OST and even making videos on it. And that, once again, is how important the final episode is. It left a long-lasting impression that even has me thinking about it 6 months later. Studios tend to pour significant amounts of resources into the finale to make it as high quality as possible, reinforcing the core themes and building immense anticipation. With Demon Slayer announcing a trilogy, it just adds even more significance to the final episode. Because that could potentially be the last actual episode of Demon Slayer ever, even making it to the top 3 highest rated anime episodes of the year. Without these episodes being memorable, it could have the potential of the fan base losing hope in the entire future of the production. Now, is an amazing final episode always necessary? No. The final episode can also be a regular last episode, if the anime is already known to be good, like Dandadan. They had an incredible episode 7 that caught everyone by surprise. Every element of that episode was amazing, earning it one of the top 5 episodes of this year, yet it was not the finale. This is because Dandadan has had a great run of episodes prior to the finale. You can even argue that because their pacing was so good, The spectacular final episode was not necessary. Same thing with Bleach, who earned the #1 spot for the highest rated anime episode of the year. It came right before the final episodes, and that didn't affect how memorable the anime will be because they paced it correctly the entire season. So the key takeaway is the final episode loses importance the better the entire season is. With a strong season, the rapport and trust is already established with the audience, and all that's left is to keep that level of consistency. A great demonstration of this is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. From hidden inventory, they had an audience engaged, and that's just a prequel before the actual season. Then the Shibuya incident happened and had so many memorable moments, whether that be Gojo being sealed, Yuji versus Choso, Sukuna versus Mahoraga, Dagon versus Toji. There were so many moments that were peak, it made it near impossible to top it with the final episode. The final episode of that season was actually pretty mid, but because of the strong start to finish, it was very insignificant. The entire season performed, which took all the expectations off for the finale to be a 10 out of 10. Even in these situations where the season performed highly throughout, the importance of the final episode is still there, it's just now measured differently. Now we're looking to see how they create the anticipation and develop the story further. Overall, a strong final episode is a cornerstone to making an anime memorable and successfully building a sustainable fan base. The balance between anticipation and execution keeps fans eager for more, leaving a lasting impression, ultimately strengthening the connection between the anime and audience, and transforming a good season into a great one and securing a viewer for future productions.